Hi Cancer, welcome to your April 2017 General Tarot reading. It's Raina here. How are you? What's been happening for you? If you're interested in an extended love reading, in other words, a focused love reading, I should say, mosey on over to my channel because I've posted those already for the month of April. And now I'm doing the general. I will be doing an update on April it's for the mid-month period, and I tend to do those at the beginning of whatever current month it is. So probably in that first week of April, I'll be doing a mid-month general update. I tend to do 3 sets of readings a month, one love, and then, one for the whole month general, and then update mid-month. And I just wanted to tell you about a few transits that are happening because Mercury goes retrograde on April 9th, and that tends to be one of the heavy hitters in terms of transits. So it's going to retrograde at 4 degrees of Taurus, and if I use my brain properly, that would be your 11th house of hopes and wishes and goals and friendships and group organizations. So you could be rethinking something in those areas. You may have a different goal. You may decide maybe you've accomplished certain things and you've decided, I don't think I want to do this. And sometimes it's not like radically different. You just tweak something. You were going to study one thing and then you go off into a different branch of it, or you know what I'm saying. So the other thing that's happening is that we're having a full moon in Libra, and this is happening on the 10th or 11th of April. For you, this is going to be your 4th house of home and family. So that could be a time when you sell your house, or you find out something about your parents. It could be like a discovery, or something comes to fruition. It could be like maybe giving birth even. Sometimes it can be that. It's a very fertile time, so anything along the lines of, I wouldn't say fertility per se, because I think that's more associated with the 5th house, but giving up things sometimes, giving up where you're living. Maybe you decide you want to move, or your house sells and you're able to move finally. Then we're going to have a new moon on April 26th, and this is going to be in that hopes and wishes sector again. So that's really cool. And that's a time when you can really set your intentions for the new moon wishes on your upcoming dreams and the things that you'd like to manifest. I've heard that the 11th house is the luckiest house, so that can be a very good power time for you. Okay, so I've been shuffling as I've been talking. And this is a general focus, as I said. Okay, so the central theme is the Page of Swords. This can be about things happening. It can be like quick moving developments, I think. but, you know, you're staying alert about something. So I always think of vigilance. I always think of somebody who's kind of ferreting out details about things. I call it the spy card because sometimes it can be you being very interested in finding out information that perhaps is not being provided to you in any area of your life, because this is a general reading. And it's funny, the two cards that are surrounding this Page of Swords. We have the Judgment on the left, and we have the Tower on the right. And someone had written to me and said, oh yeah, the Judgment card is associated with Pluto, because I had kind of wondered aloud about that on one of my videos. You know, what astrological connection does the Judgment card have? And I thought it was Pluto, because this is a card of rebirth. And then somebody confirmed that for me, and I guess the Tower card, I thought that could be Pluto also, but it's actually Mars, I think. Yeah, was it Mars? I thought it could be either Pluto or Uranus. Because of the suddenness, Uranus, you know, takes you by surprise. But the Judgment card is the past position for you. So this can be, I usually see in personal relationships that it's someone who has come out of a divorce or legal kind of a case. Maybe in some cases it's even a child custody battle. But in this particular context, because it can be also in the work sector, the Judgment card is about karma and the chickens coming home to roost. And this can be for the person that you're working for. It doesn't have to be you, that you're the one that's experiencing the karma. So let's get that straight right away. If you, for instance, have been in a situation where you've been taken advantage of, and I don't like to say taken advantage of because it implies that you're a complete helpless victim. If somebody asks you to do work that is, and you're not getting paid extra for it, and you agree to do it, then I was going to say that makes you a fool, but I understand that some people, they don't want to just quit because they're afraid that they can't pay their bills. So they feel like they're forced to do things that they don't want to do because the thought of getting fired is like hanging over them. So without, accusing you of being a chump, if you were in that situation, I would say I don't want to coddle you either, and I don't want to give the impression that you are just completely helpless victim. I could just say, if somebody tried to take advantage of you and used their power to, to wield some kind of authority and threaten you in that sense, and you felt like you had to do it, that person may get their comeuppance. And you are on the case. You're very aware now. Maybe in the past, you let things slide and you're aware. Now, the Tower card could indicate that there are more surprises to come. It could be that the Judgment card represents it doesn't have to be that a legal judgment was rendered. It could be that the place where you worked for, that they saw their own earnings drop because of their bad practices. And you may, I almost see like the Page of Swords as a whistleblower, as somebody who sees what's happening and is, going to be like a mole and take down these people. Now that's very dramatic, and I'm sure that's not the majority of people watching this, but it might play out in some similar way, whether or not you're actually active as the Page of Swords and you're really a whistleblower. you might just be saying to, maybe you're thinking about it. Maybe you're thinking, God, they're really cutting corners here. They're not doing the right things. But what I'm trying to say is that karma may catch up to them in a very unexpected way. You're aware of the situation. That's what the Page of Swords represents. In personal relationships, it may be that someone did you wrong and you found out about it. The Judgment card is about rebirth too, and purification, coming through the fire. And now you are not naive anymore if you were before. Why is there a Tower card in the future? Well, I don't know. It could be that perhaps other surprises are in store. This is an example. You catch your spouse cheating and you are, now you're legally separated. Maybe that's what the judgment is. But then they tell you that they're having a child with somebody else, and or maybe you find out they're a bigamist. I have no idea. But there is this sense of upheaval. And for Cancer people, upheaval may be your middle name right now. You may have experienced a lot of upheaval in the last 9 years with Pluto, with Uranus. Uranus, it's a little bit less than that. But these outer planets, wreaking havoc on the cardinal signs and, threatening your sense of stability. It's all good because it gets you into that frame of mind where you don't just go through the motions of life, where you don't just get up, eat, go to work, come home, watch the Idiot Box, rinse, repeat. Go to sleep, rinse, repeat. That you realize that your life is about more than that, more about the illusion of security. Because that's what security is. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. Even with FDIC, guaranteed, you have no idea that they're going to honor that forever. And you have to be okay with that. You have to sit with that and be okay and say, I know that I am a child of God and the universe owes me a living. And I didn't say the government, I didn't say anybody else, I said the universe. The universe put us here, so the universe owes us a living. And we used to get that directly from our land because we used to live in conjunction, in harmony with nature. And we didn't have to go to the store and buy things in styrofoam. We actually lived, without all of that and survived. And some people may say, well, I don't want to just survive. I want to have a very convenient life. But my point is that there was a time when there wasn't money. Maybe people bartered and stuff like that. But the construct of money, all of these things were devised to keep us in this state of frenzy and fear and panic mode. And that's what you have to get beyond, transcend. Because when you do that, then you're free. And then guess what? That's the paradox of life. Every time that we don't need something, it comes in droves. And we say, where was this when I really needed it? Now I don't even care if I have it. But that's what happens, whether it's a person and you want that soulmate relationship, or whether it's the perfect job. So the higher message is the Knight of Swords. And this is another Swords card. How many did I get? Well, I just got 2 of them. Also, there could be a person who is an air sign who's figuring into your life. This particular Swords, I don't know if he's connected to a certain sign. I would connect him to Gemini, but actually I connect him with Aries and maybe having air in his charts. Somebody who's very brash, outspoken, blunt. But it is connected to air energy, so Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. If there's somebody of that, one of those signs that's in your life, that could be showing up. But this is the higher message. So I even think it's a facet of you that you are learning to stand up for yourself, and not just stand up for yourself, but there's that saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. I love that, because I just can't even understand how people cannot have opinions on things. I mean, unless you're a guru in a cave. But I mean, the average person, not to have like certain things that they really are strongly, that they believe in, to me, it's almost dangerous, because you could fall for anything. This person doesn't mince their words. And the Knight of Swords can also talk about fast-moving events. And I had mentioned that with the Page of Swords. I was wondering if I was getting that confused, but I don't think so. And I think that with pages, it's like the beginnings of things. But if there are, you may have this sense of like being underwater. And with these retrogrades, like the Venus retrograde, for instance, sometimes they stall things. We also have a Jupiter retrograde in Libra, which is squaring your sun or your ascendant. And it could be this sense of feeling like things are moving at a snail's pace, and then all of a sudden everything starts humming again. It's like after the holidays. There's like sparse communication, and then it's like boom, all of a sudden. So if you are able to be more responsive in your life, you can hop on these opportunities. Like if this is a work situation where maybe, the Tower card indicates suddenly, I don't want to scare anybody, but let's say suddenly needing to find a job. But this other thing, it seems like there's like a lot of movement being generated. And if you're just focusing on the loss, you miss some of these opportunities. And so that's why you have to keep on top of things. You snooze, you lose. But in your personal relationships, it could be like, or not personal relationships, but facet of you, the higher message or the spiritual message in this may be like, you need to start speaking your truth and stop allowing other people to get one over on you. And maybe that is what happened, and you have to, in the future, learn to say no. And you will come a long way. What crosses you is the Four of Pentacles. So this can indicate somebody that's too obsessed with maintaining control over their finances, and that certainly would be you, even though Pentacles relate to Earth. So you may be like getting a little bit too fear-based about, oh my God, what am I going to do? Don't sweat it. You've got this. But you have to believe that the universe has your back. It doesn't mean that you just go on a spending spree. But if in other words, if you need something, don't deprive yourself of it because you're afraid that you won't have the money. That I've seen it in my own life, proven, or is it proved, more than once, where I was holding on to money because I was thinking, no, I can't spend this until I get more money. And when I finally just did it, it's like all of a sudden the floodgates opened, and relative floodgates, obviously, but just that sense of that there was some kind of a blockage, and then it's like all of a sudden it flowed again. Let's put it that way. So that's something to think about. And it could be also an earth sign that is not being cool with you, if this is a personal relationship. The advice or what's coming in is the Empress card. Now, this could be a Taurus person. You know, Taurus is connected to this. Also Libra, and that was kind of like what I was wondering about with this card. So maybe there's more than one person involved in your personal life. And that, you know, nothing I said, you know, talking about career goes against this for personal life. Learning to say no. This could be a card of motherhood, though, the Earth Mother. So it could be that some of you are, I had said conceiving with that full moon, but I was saying that's more of the 5th house. Well, let's just say maybe that's still happening. The 4th house is connected to the mother. Some say the father. I believe it's the mother. It's Cancer's house. Cancer is the mother. So, yeah, so that might be that some of you are going to become pregnant, and with that, you know, you may be dealing with a relationship, and if it's with an air sign, it could be somebody who you feel is not tuning into you emotionally, and that's bothering you. And you have to understand that somebody like that is not, that's not how they're wired. So in a way, it's kind of unfair to expect them to be like that when that's not their nature. Most of them, obviously, that's a generalization. But if this is a Taurus person, this person might provide you with the kind of luxury and love of life that you want, because even in the end result, or what do we call this card? Why can't I think straight? The final card, the outcome is the Ten of Pentacles, which is about financial abundance, wealth. This can be family money in some cases. I had mentioned, well, I don't think it was your sign though, but I was talking about inheritances. It can be inheritances. I don't think that was in your transits, but it could be inheritances, I guess. You know, you don't have to have a transit to have an inheritance. But this is a card of like, you don't have anything to worry about. The money is on its way. Or the earth sign person, the Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus person is on their way. So anyway, that's really cool. And I hope you enjoyed this, Cancer, and take care of yourselves. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great April. Bye.